Hi guys and girls, and Karel from the story department, and it has taken me a while to come back with a new video. I've been traveling a bit. I was in Tasmania a few weeks ago, and last weekend I spent in Singapore working with local screenwriters. It was a fantastic experience, and it's looking like we'll be going back there, which is fantastic. I was in the middle of a series about point of view. I'd done about 4 videos. And look at the coincidence. It took John August and Craig Mazin 358 episodes to get to the topic, miraculously right while I was addressing it. Now, interestingly, Craig Mazin gets it. John August doesn't. And I'll demonstrate why. Also in this video, I'm going to finally look at how you use point of view to create comedy. And that's really building on Steve Kaplan's notion of straight line, wavy line. So if that all sounds interesting, let's dive into it. So in their craft series, Mazin and August spoke about point of view. And interestingly, they had different definitions. Mazin got it right, August got it completely wrong. What was interesting, Craig Mazin, who's usually very good at calling out people who get things wrong, didn't say so much to August. And I know that he was frowning and he didn't agree with the definition. You can hear it. He keeps going back to his framing of the concept, which is absolutely spot on. And John August just sticks with his own notion. Now let's have a look at what exactly they were saying. So here's the definition by John August. Point of view is which characters have the ability to drive scenes. They can be in a scene by themselves and you follow them. They can be in a scene with strangers and you still follow them. So he speaks about driving the scene. Has nothing to do with point of view. And we've demonstrated this. We've talked about Inception, where we see the Ariadne character becomes the point of view character of the scene, while Leonardo DiCaprio as Dom Cobb is still very much driving the action and driving the scene. So how did Mazin get it right? Well, Craig Mazin says, I see POV as an answer to the question, with whom am I supposed to identify with? That's what he said in this scene. I'm with them and their ambition and their desire. This is exactly what point of view is about. You are with the character, you identify with the character, and you care about their goals and their ambition. So when you get point of view right, then that's how the audience experiences it. And Mazin goes back to that relationship between the audience and the character. And all the while, John August just keeps saying, who is driving the scene, as the question that will lead to the answer of who has the point of view. And then finally, when they're talking about examples, Craig Mazin again said, it's about the person through whose point of view I will be experiencing the scene. So it's kind of like a circular definition, but he's essentially right. So the point of view of a film is the characters. It's essentially a character. It's that character through whose eyes, through whose perspective, through whose point of view we are experiencing the scene. Now, I found that interesting. The two very experienced screenwriters, differed in opinion. Maybe it has something to do with the type of movies they write. If you look at Craig Mazin's credits, they're usually quite popular, quite mainstream, and some of them very successful, whereas John August tends to take a somewhat more artistic approach, if you wish. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to hear what you think. Did you hear the episode? What did you think about what they said? Put your comments in the comment box down below the video. All right, now let's go to comedy and how you can use point of view to create comedy. Steve Kaplan calls it straight line, wavy line. Why? Because the straight line is when the viewer looks directly at the character. The wavy line is when we look at something through the eyes of a different character. So it's a wavy line. Now I look at it as shifting point of view. So basically where typically you'd be watching a character or experiencing the film from your point of view character, in order to create the comedic effect, you need to temporarily shift from your main character or your point of view character to a different character. I'm going to show you 3 examples that will clarify this completely. The first one is from the film Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell and Emma Thompson. And you see Harold Crick. He hears this voice of the narrator of his story, but he's the only one who hears the voice. And he responds to it. And to him, that's not funny. To us watching the movie, that's not funny either. But we need to shift the point of view to see the comedy in that particular scene. So I'm going to play a very short clip in which we see Harold Crick on the street responding to this voice. And you'll see where the comedy comes in when a third party looks at this character. And then suddenly it becomes comedy.
Sorry, does anyone have the time?
I got 6:18.
Thus, Harold's watch thrust him into the immitigable path of fate. Little did he know that this simple, seemingly innocuous act would result in his imminent death.
What? What? Hey! Hello? What? Why? Why my death? Hello? Excuse me? When? How imminent?
So this straight line, wavy line business is shifting point of view in order to create comedy. Now, this is good to know because a scene, you may believe that a scene is funny in its own right. Often it isn't. Often you need to place a third-party character in the scene so we can look through the eyes of that character to make it clear or to see the funny angle of what's going on. Another clear example is from the end of The Incredibles, the first Incredibles, 2004, by Brad Bird. We see how Dash is going to run, and in order to fit in with his other friends, he's learned to control his special power, which is running very fast. So again, in this scene, he needs to control his power, run like a normal boy, and we see the family encourage him to run fast enough to maybe win, but maybe not completely. And so these encouragements, the yells from the family, they become funny, not for us because we know exactly what's going on, but for the people in the vicinity. And you'll see very briefly, for a split second only, we cut away to a third-party character, we shift point of view, and the situation becomes funny. Let's have a quick look. Okay, are you starting to get it? It's fairly simple. So if you want to create this comedic effect, the situation itself won't work. You need to have another character to shift the point of view to temporarily and look at the situation. You already knew this, and there's one classic film example that we'll close with that illustrates this better than whatever else. So here we go.
Yes! 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 Oh! 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 Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Shifting point of view in order to create comedy in When Harry Met Sally. Point of view is critically important. Now, if this is the first video you see in my series, make sure you check out all the other videos. They introduce you to the concept of point of view and give you different angles to this technique. And I'll also explain in these videos how you achieve it in your writing. There's a few more of these videos coming. I'll be looking at point of view cheats and also point of view mistakes, where filmmakers realized to their horror that what they did with point of view didn't work. And There are plenty of screenplays going around that will never get made, where these fundamental issues are broken or breached, where they play with point of view in a way that goes straight against the principles. And if you are not aware of it, it is highly likely that the film or the screenplay will fail. So I urge you to study point of view. If you enjoy these videos, please give us a like, maybe subscribe to the channel, and if you click the bell button, then you'll be notified when we post our next video. It can be a while, as you experienced this time around. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm hoping to see you for the next video. Bye.